Forget about that. I don't want to go there. So yeah, sad for them. Yeah, sad for them.
And their whole thing has been the top order batsman failed, then middle order batsman came, Sangakkara got out, and once he gets out, the whole team just collapse.
Sadly, that's true. And you can't keep saying Sangakkara's got to win every game. You know, he can't do it. He just can't win every game for you. He's going to fail somewhere along the line. In fact, he's done pretty well so far. So you've really, but you know, I think we've also got to say, let's give some credit to Rangpur Riders, because their fielding was outstanding today. They bowled nicely. They made sure they got the ball in the right area, and their fielding was par excellence. Whereas you can't compare the two. So you look down the batting card and you just see the Rangpur Riders ahead of the game. Clearly.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, that's the finishing card there. You know, when you look at it, it was quite an easy finish at the end. Some nice finishing off, and that's what we haven't seen from the Dhaka Dynamites.
And also their bowling card. We'll take a look at that. Dhaka's bowling card.
Well, the Dhaka bowling card isn't pretty, because in there are extras. Now, if you look down the left-hand side, there are 23 extras there. Now, of course, there would be some, leg bars which would be in there, but there were 8 wides. Now, 8 wides, 8 balls were bowled extra, so a run scored off them. Not good enough, just not good enough.
And the match summary says something like this. Dhaka Dynamites, Rangpur Riders, Nasir, Sangakkara. Nasir and Sangakkara did try to set a good partnership, but that also failed.
Yeah, well, best we just move from the poor Dhaka Dynamites. These fans, I guess, don't really want to hear us talking too much more about it. We can say what we like. Poor performance, bad fielding, so what can you do? Their bowling, they tried, but they didn't have enough runs. So
misfielding was a huge problem.
It was. But we're moving away from that. The fielding was disastrous, to say the least. An absolute disaster. Yeah, the missed fields on the ground were just unacceptable. There were just so many of them. I tried to add them up, and eventually, we had a little highlights package. We might see it now, but the highlights showed 4 or 5 fours, which shouldn't have been there. That's 20 before you start.
We'll take a look at the misfielding package. Misfielding package.
Look at this. Nah, you can't do that. And there was just poor effort there. And this one, that's regulation, absolute regulation. So, those are little things that says something's not well there. And Mickey Arthur will need to take a re-look at it, because where they stand in the log now, they've got some work to do. They're really good, really tough. And those extras really eventually killed them. Really killed them.
And the 23 extra runs which they just gave away, we can take a look. How?
Yeah. There you go. That happens. That's part of the game, off the pads, and Kamal Sangakkara will look and he'll feel aggrieved by it. But it's the wides. It's the wides. Look at those, That's the problem. The no balls. Wides and no balls. No discipline.
When I had a word with Mickey this evening, I asked him, I say, what's with the teams whenever they lose their captain or their main star player? Why do they all collapse like that? Why they just fall like a pack of cards? Where aren't they motivated enough? So he agreed to it, but he really didn't give me any explanation. Why do you think this happens?
Well, sometimes, I think you look at your best star player, when he gets out, you kind of rely on him, and I think you've got to move away from that. You've just got to move away from. You can't keep thinking, oh well, we saw in the earlier match today, we saw Chris Gale and Lewis getting out, and once they got out, they collapsed to, I don't know, what was it? Did they get 60? I can't remember. 58 or something ridiculous. So again, the senior players got out, and it just falls apart. So it's a worry, but. Hey, all credit to the Dhaka Dynamites. I thought they played really well, the Rangpur Riders. I think they batted really well, They got home, they kept their mind on it, they made sure they saw it through, and I think that was important.
Let's take a look at the second innings. So, Pat, what do you reckon? That is there a chance for Dhaka Dynamites to get through?
Well, I'd like to see the points table. I think they probably still run about fourth. And I think that when you look at it now, Dhaka Dynamites, yep, they're lying fourth. They've played 7 games. So, if they win the next 2, I think they might need to rely on someone else as well. The Barasat Bulls have dropped down to 3rd, interestingly. Ranked Piratas are 2nd. But sadly, your Chittagong Vikings, the side that you like so much, are lying at the bottom of the table. So that doesn't help your cause. The Dhaka Dynamites are going to have to, somehow along the way, it'll be important. Tomorrow's matches are going to be important to the Dhaka Dynamites, I think. Who wins and loses there, I think that's going to be important.
So they need to pray for their competitors to lose, that's all.
Yeah.
The first match tomorrow is going to be Comilla Victorians versus Borishal Bulls. They better pull up their socks because today's performance was not so good. And the second match is between Select Superstars, who played a fantastic game today. Shahid Afridi completely changed it, versus the Rangpur Riders. So that's going to be a tough one for Select Superstars.
Yes, well, the Superstars will still think, if they can win all their games from here on in, who knows, they can qualify. And the Dhaka Dynamites are looking at that game as well, so,
yes.
Interesting.
Anything might happen because this is the game of glorious uncertainties, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining me, Pat.
Pleasure.
And I hope you liked our coverage. I hope you're watching the good game of cricket in BPL 2015. You keep watching Channel 9. We'll be back tomorrow.